Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome live on stage the man himself. It's Double Johnson. And good evening. Oh, good evening. It will be good evening once this has been uploaded. Welcome to Dazzer's Transfer Show. Now, of course, yesterday we did try and do it live, and unfortunately, YouTube decided to corrupt. So we've had a couple of issues. So we're doing it as a recording. So thank you all very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoy tonight's show. It's the final show of the current series. And then, of course, next week we have another special guest, should I say. And that is the bumper episode, which will be going on for about between an hour and a half, I'd say. There's not really much time limit in that. Of course, the show will run smoothly as usual, 40 minutes to do the transfers, and then the last so-and-so of the talking and bits, So, as I say, we'll get started very shortly, but we have to introduce our guest for today. And, ladies and gentlemen, from the YouTube channel BlueTube, he's an Ipswich Town vlogger, actually. The man himself from BlueTube, it's Mr. Wigan.
It's got a lot of that music. Thanks for having me on, Daryl. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Yeah, apologies about yesterday, by the way. It was out of our control, really. By the way, for those who are just listening, apologies. I did have the mic turned on at the same time as the desktop audio, which meant that the music came through twice. And I mean, I did a test recording earlier to make sure it didn't happen, and it still happened. But yes, thanks for coming on, mate. Meg. Oh, I'm getting me teeth in the wrong place once again. Thanks for coming on, mate. Of course, yesterday was, such short notice as well. And, of course, we had a couple of mess-ups, but, we're getting it done, which is good. And how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Daryl. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to the first Championship home game this season. And, of course, the Premier League returns. Tonight, Liverpool against Norwich. Going to be interesting. Anyways, let's get straight on to the business. Before we get on to talking about transfers, let's talk a bit about Ipswich Town. Of course, I don't really want to have to remind you about last season. I think you already know what happened there. You beat Leeds on the final day of the season, though, which was a positive to take.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Pretty good way to end it.
And it stopped them from getting promotion completely. And this season, you're in League One. I'll admit, I feel sorry for you because, you're quite a big club with quite a bit of history. And I'm thinking, that they shouldn't really be in a situation like this. But how do you think, what do you think the reason was why you got relegated last season?
So, obviously, our old manager that we appointed at the start of the season, Paul Hurst, I don't think he brought in the right transfers. We are bringing in League One quality players. Obviously, in a league like the Championship, you've got to bring in Championship experienced or possibly Premiership experienced players, and the League One players system didn't really work, and that's why Hurst went early doors, and that's why pretty much our season was revolved around the League One players. Well, I say our season was we were relegated because of the quality players we had.
I mean, you did have some quite decent players as well. You had Goldrick, Matt Goldrick. Sorry, you had Wagon, who so you had a couple of good players. I just think, I think it was just the reason you went down was mainly because of the signings, and you've now got Paul Lambert still in charge, who of course you've met. I saw the other video you met on that. What was it, an open day or something? You interviewed him. You're more lucky than I am. I can never get to interview any bloody players. Luckier than me. But I mean, that was mainly just it, really. I think you're now into League One. Do you think you'll get promotion?
I think everyone said we'll get automatics, but I don't think it'll be that way. I reckon we'll finish. I reckon we'll get playoffs. I think it'd be disappointing if we finished out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Even though it's our third season in League One. Even if we don't win the playoffs, it kind of does put us in a more positive position, but it'll still be a disappointing position. And realistically, we do be hoping to go up. So
True.
I'm going to say we'll finish fourth and then go up through playoffs.
I think this is something that a lot of people say, League One people disagree. I think if you go down from the Championship to League One, it's a lot more harder to get out. It's harder to get promoted in the lower division. Because the Championship's tough.
Really. 15 years we tried to get out of the Championship, and look at us, we go out the wrong way.
Yeah.
So,
Bolton have been down there loads of times. Up and down, left and right. It made Scotty B happy, mind. To be honest. Yeah. Right, so that's that for a minute. We've done the 5 minutes of talking, so we'll get. So obviously we're into we're nearly into 7 minutes into the video, so we'll start the transfers here and go on till that clock gets to 47 minutes. The show will run over, by the way. Of course, you have to expect that. I say 45 minutes, but I said we're 7 minutes in now, so we'll get the transfers started, and we'll start where. We'll start with the main talking point. We're not going to talk all of these in too much detail, because there is an enormous list to try and get through. The first one I'm going to talk about is a Manchester United transfer. Romelu Lukaku has left Manchester United, and a lot of United fans aren't happy. But I'll admit, I don't really care, because I don't think he was that great in the first place. First season, he had a decent first season. Second season, cack. Since then, he's just not been good at all. He was good at Everton, went to United, did okay first season, and then from there, he was just a donkey who just could barely kick the ball in the net. He even missed sitters half the time last season, so, it is what it is. And, of course, now United have to look at possibly bringing in a replacement in January. We've got, obviously, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial can play as a striker.
Yeah.
Not many strikers though from Manchester United at all. And Greenwood's in contention to start against Chelsea. So there's one or two players who can play at striker, but I think Ollie's mainly looking into the youth players more. I think Lukaku going to Inter. Big transfer for United, apart from not getting the entire amount back. It did cost 75 million to get him from Everton. So United are missing 2 million from their actual price that they bought him for. So they've lost a bit more money than they did. So still got some more money back, and they can obviously get some more transfers in January. Of course, by the way, we're not going to talk about what our thoughts are on all on the people on teams' transfer windows and stuff. We're going to do that next week. That's what the bumper episode's mainly for. But Lukaku to Inter Milan. Inter Milan, Serie A, a good team. And the Serie A's not an easy league, but it's a lot smaller than the Premier League. And he did well in the Prem. Didn't do well at United, apart from the first season. But will he do well at Inter? That's the question. I mean, that's a question that, a lot of people say, well, you can't really answer that question. It's a question still yet to be answered, and you can't really tell until he's actually played a game. Were you surprised by Inter Milan signing Lukaku?
Well, I think he was always going to be one of those players that's probably going to go. I just think it's a bit of a strange one. We can't tell whether he's going to perform at Serie A. You couldn't tell if he was going to perform at United either. But Serie A is a completely different league, like you said. I don't think there's as much competitiveness. You've got your Romans, AC Milans, Napoli, Inter Milans, but normally it's Juventus that run away with it every year, to be honest. And it's a bit of a weird one. I think he's reached his peak, and I honestly, like you said, you can't tell really how he's going to play. He might be a superstar, or he might be an absolute flop.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think he'll do that well in Serie A, because he doesn't know the Serie A back to front. And will he get starts ahead of Mauro Cardi? occasional. I don't think he'll get as many starts as he did at Manchester United. He's not going to start every game. Icardi is always going to be better. He's always going to be better than Lukaku. So Icardi's going to get first team football practically all the time, unless, of course, the new manager for Inter, which is Antonio Conte, unless he decides to go for the 4-4-2. I know he was relentlessly going 4-3-4-3 and 4-3-3 at Chelsea. So will he switch to a 4-4-2 and play Lukaku and Icardi up front? Don't know. I think it might be a bit of a mixed bag as to, Icardi plays some of the games and Lukaku plays some of the games and this, that, and the other. I think it'd be a lot of switching about. So I'm not sure if it's the right decision or not, but I'd say we can't really tell what's going to happen till he's played. And ignore the background noise, by the way. That's just coming from downstairs. I've got the door open to get some air in here. Next one, anyways. Andy Carroll has returned to Newcastle United after about 8 or 9 years. Now, talking of Newcastle United, I've just been to St James's Park earlier on. That was a free stadium tour with a group. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be paying for a stadium tour there. Because it's obviously, it's a person from Middlesbrough walking into enemy territory. It was quite good, mind. It's a big stadium, a lot bigger than Borough's. And you can actually see the Sunderland Stadium of Light from the top stand, which is interesting. Anyway, we're not here to talk about St James's Park. I just thought whilst we were talking about Newcastle, Andy Carroll has left West Ham United after a few years actually of being there, and he goes back to Newcastle after 8 or 9 years. Is it the right move for him? Yes, probably, because I think he did well at Newcastle. He did quite decent at West Ham. This season he didn't get enough game time. When he did get game time, he wasn't showing himself a lot of times. And another player that reminds me of that is Jordan Hugill. It's a bit like that, but obviously Carroll was a bit better than Hugill any day of the week. Hugill could barely hit a barn door. The only goals he ever really scored was penalties half the time, a bit like Pogba. So, Carroll did obviously score that majestic overhead kick from the back post. Is it the back post or the far post? I think it is the back post. I might have got that mixed up. You've got the near post at the back. Yeah, it is the back post. Sorry, yes, it is. The overhead kick from the back post, which was a contender for goal of the season back in 2017. Might have been 2016. I can't remember what year it was, but it was certainly one of the recent years. And what a goal that was. Is it a good decision for Newcastle bringing him? Yes, they badly need someone who's got Premier League experience. They brought in Joelinton, they got rid of Jose Perez. They've got Steve Bruce, who's a championship manager. And they've still got Mike Ashley, who cares more about his Sports Direct mugs. And I'm not just saying that. There's Newcastle fans who have said that too, and have agreed. So he cares more about his Sports Direct mugs than his club. Which is truthful anyway. But they have been splashing out a bit of money anyway. Joelinton, 40 million, and all them. Now Andy Carroll. And do you think Andy Carroll made the right decision of going back to Newcastle? Oh, he's disappeared. Brilliant.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there we go.
It was very next, which obviously don't link up very well. Obviously, it's quite far away.
Well, connection-wise, probably, yes. My connection's been wonky though the last few days anyway. As I was saying, not sure if you heard the question I asked.
Yeah. I don't think I did.
Yeah, there's new big... Right, I'll try. We'll try again. Yes. This is what happens when you are doing a live recording. Anyways, as I said, did Newcastle make the right decision of bringing in Andy Carroll?
I think, he's getting old. He's not going to be able to play full games, and he's not going to be able to play every single game in the Premier League season, is he? But, there's Rondon last season. I think it's gone back to West Brom as he was a lone player. Probably not enough replacement for him. But at the end of the day, I see him as maybe a Steve Bruce kind of player. And, you know, it could work. I mean, like most transfers, like we said with Lukaku, you just don't know, do you? Until you see him play.
True, yeah. Andy Carroll was actually born in Gateshead, which is just outside of Newcastle, so...
Yeah, just
But he's gone back to his hometown. He is in his 30s now, but he's 6'4".
exactly.
And that's the type of player that...
He's always a good player to have at a club. He's always a good player to have at a club.
Yeah, no.
You know, I'm surprised he's gone to Newcastle. I would have maybe called it like him going somewhere like a championship size, you know. But
Or going to the MLS to finish his career.
yeah, like most players. But it's a bit of a shock. I think I wasn't expecting Newcastle. I mean, I knew he wouldn't be at West Ham, but to end his career, well,
Yeah.
might have been. But I would have thought he'd moved on to MLS side, really. But, you know, he's got a family. He's going closer to home. So.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, I think it's a decent one for Newcastle because they've been in urgent need of attackers, especially since they sold Jose Perez. But they got Joelinton from the Bundesliga from Hoffenheim, who has no Premier League experience, and they brought in Andy Carroll now, who has a lot of Premier League experience and is not a bad player, but he's not been doing well in recent years. He's got past it a bit. So that's Andy Carroll for the minute there. By the way, the transfers that we don't get through tonight, we will go through next week. Next week, of course, we will continue. We'll keep going next week, non-stop until we get through all the transfers, and then we've done all the talking and the business, and hopefully it'll be live. So there you go. Next one, Danny Welbeck decided that Watford was the right move. He declined offers from other English and European clubs because he badly wanted to go to Watford. He would go to one of Arsenal's rivals, wouldn't he? He wasn't getting much game time at Arsenal, and I think he's gone to Watford mainly for the game time, and it is a free transfer as well, so I think Arsenal have lost quite a bit of profit in that, because I think if it wasn't free, I think you'd be looking about probably 20-30 million for him, so I think Arsenal have made a mistake letting him go on a free. So, you know, I mean, but it's good for Watford. It's another star striker that they've got. They've got still got Troy Deeney, who's a club legend, I would say, for them. Where's Jude when you need him? I'm joking. Yeah, Jude's a Watford fan, by the way, so he knows a lot more about Watford than I do. I've got no affiliation to Watford, but he does. Or does Jacob from the WD18 channel, you know. So Danny Welbeck goes to Watford. He's going to get a lot more game time there. Was it the right move? Yeah, I mean, he wasn't going to get much game time at Arsenal, especially since Lacazette and Aubameyang came in. Who were both a class apart them, a class above them. So I think it's a good move for Danny Welbeck. What are your thoughts on this transfer?
Yeah, I don't think it's a massive loss for Arsenal, to be honest. You know, and for Danny Welbeck's career, you know, maybe going to a smaller club like Watford could do the world of good for him. So, you know, he'll be excited because, you know, game time and, you know, chance for him to prove himself in the Premier League again, maybe.
I mean, if I look at his stats and stuff here, he is 28. He was actually born in Manchester. So that was interesting. He was actually born in Manchester.
He used to play for United, didn't he?
He did used to play for United as well. Let's see if I can find his stats. A second. He's won one Champions League.
He did claim that he's going to be better than ever. Whether that's going to be true or not, I do kind of believe that, to be honest.
He's won one Champions League. He's won 2 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups, 2 Carling Cups, or what now is the Carabao. And he's also won, I don't know what trophy that is. trophy's that? Sec. Nice. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to find it. The FIFA Club World Cup winner in 2009 with Manchester United. He's also won the English Super Cup, which is the FA Community Shield, 3 times as well. So he's done quite well, actually, in his career. And for England, 16 goals in 42 appearances. It's not the greatest, but it's not that bad either. So he's still got, I think he's still got enough left in him. I mean, he's not in his 30s yet, so he's not classed as an old sod, you know.
Old player, you know, he's still got a few years in him to.
So he's still got a few years in him left.
Himself in the Premier League once again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe he can be at Watford for a year or two, and then maybe move on to start to think about maybe possibly retiring.
Fair enough. Next one, that's Danny Welbeck for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's 3 out of probably a billionaire. I didn't bother counting them because I think it'd probably take me longer to count them than it would to actually do the video. The next one's Anthony Dyke-Steele has joined Middlesbrough on a 3-year deal, and a guy called James French, who is a Borough fan who follows me on Instagram, he said he thinks it's a £2 million deal. So I'm not sure for absolutely certain, but Dyke-Steele helped Charlton to get to the Championship, beating Sunderland in the final, and he's a very good right back. So everything seems to be positive in the Borough camp. Now, people have said that Woodgate promised 2 signings in the transfer window. Not in the transfer window, in transfer window deadline day. It's the management and recruitment staff are the people who want the players. But they have to do all the signing and all the contracts and stuff. But it's the board. The board have to make the decision financially whether they can give them the money to bring him in or to bring a player in. Now, that's probably why we couldn't get anyone else in, because I think there was players that Woodgate wanted, which, of course, the board probably couldn't do financially. That's probably why. So I don't think it's all down to Woodgate. I don't think it's Woodgate's fault. And that's for any club as well. Any other club in the world, you have to go through the financial stuff before you go onto the contracts. But I think it's a good signing for Borough. I think it's a good right back that we've signed. What does that mean for Ryan Shotton? No, because Ryan Shotton's currently the number 1 right back. And of course, Paddy McNair plays in CDM. He normally plays at right back as well. So there's going to be, I think there'll be a couple of position switches around. And what were you going to say?
I think at a club, I always say this, when a player comes in, maybe when you loan a player in, it's normally to give maybe like if you've got 1 or 2 right backs at the club, extra maybe competitions, maybe try a bit harder, work a bit harder to try and get into that first team. But, I think he's good right back, he's established himself in League One, and why can't he do the same thing in the Championship,
Suppose that's very true, mind. I mean, I don't know how long he's played at Charlton. I think he's probably been there since they were in the Championship, so he'll have some Championship experience. And
I think he's been through the youth.
I don't actually know too much about him, apart from I've seen him play, and he's a good right back, so that's really all I know about him, really. I don't watch League One in a lot of detail, I'll admit. I'm always watching Premier League, Championship, Bundesliga.
League One is a bit of an irrelevant league.
Not really. It's tough league. Also, we do have some breaking news coming in. It came through yesterday. Yesterday, when the stuff came, when there was reports and stuff coming in, Berry, it's all gone completely pant-shaped for Berry now. They've got now till the 23rd of August to prove their financial security stuff, that they've got enough money to pay the debits and the debts and everything else and the financial stuff. And if they don't give the EFL proof by the 23rd of August, they will be kicked out of the EFL and will be going immediately to the Vanarama National League.
Yes.
Which will not be good for Bury fans. And I feel for Bury fans. I mean, no club should be in that situation. And I think, the Bury fans have to accept it. There's nothing there's nothing they can do. It's all down to the club. They can blame the club. But I think the EFL, I think it's a bit harsh on Bury. I know they're having a couple of financial issues. So are Bolton, no.
Yeah.
But they didn't threaten Bolton with getting them kicked out.
Yeah, equally, Bolton are worse. I think Bolton, and Bury, really, they've barely got a team.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And they've not been hit with a threat. I just think the EFL have been harsh on Bury these days.
Bolton haven't even been threatened with liquidation or anything, really. They've literally just been.
They got minus 12 for administration.
Yeah, point deduction. And then that's that, really. Doesn't look like anything else will be happening, but it's going to be a difficult rebuild for Bolton and Bury if they manage to prove themselves right.
It's all going wrong for Bury. First, they get a minus 12 point deduction for the financial stuff. Then 3 of their games have been cancelled. Their game against Sheffield Wednesday on Tuesday has been cancelled, has been suspended. I'm not sure what that means, whether Sheffield Wednesday automatically go through to the second round of the Carabao Cup. I don't know how that works. That's what I'm assuming.
I think that.
Don't know how it works, mind.
Because they've suspended the
game,
then, so
yeah. And then now they're getting threatened that they're going to get kicked out the EFL League 1 and League 2. So they're going to get kicked out the EFL completely. But,
yeah, they've got a lot of history, and
it'd be really quite surprised. I'm surprised. I feel for them, but hey ho, what can you do? You just have to. Club have to sort out the finance now.
Got Sisu at Coventry. Bolton's situation is, the fact that Coventry don't have a stadium is equally as bad as Bolton, who don't have players.
Well, Coventry's sharing Birmingham Stadium, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, I do feel for the Birmingham fans in that sense as well. Must be awful to have
EFL are messing things up these days. Classic.
Yeah.
Right, on to the next one. By the way, Alferny Dijksteel is 22 years old, so he's a young player that Jonathan Woodgate wanted to bring in. Got a couple of young players in the squad as well now. Marcus Brown's young, Bolly's young, Mejias is, I think, late 20s or something like that now. He's something like that. Still got Dale Fye, who's in his early 20s, 23, 24. There's Asombalonga, who's in his 20s as well. I think late 20s, might be even into his 30s nearly. Wing is still quite young as well. And I think that's practically... what's his name? Hulson, the left back, the one that played against Luton. I can't remember his name. I think it was Hulson, or I gave him man of the match against Luton. I can't remember now. I can't remember his name off the top of my head now. But it's him who's quite young as well. On to the next one, and this is a surprising one. And Alan Mui has left Huddersfield Town, gone to Brighton on loan. Now, I think there's only one reason why he's done that. He wants Premier League football. He doesn't want to be playing in the Championship again. I think he's quite decent I think he was quite decent in the Premier League. He was one of their best midfielders. So I think a move to Brighton's quite reasonable. And it is on loan as well. I'm surprised because with Alan Murray, he'd want to go there permanent probably, But I think they've let him go on loan because he was quite valuable for Huddersfield in defence. So just to help Brighton out a bit, and then he'll go back there and try and get them to the Premier League again. But what do you have to say about this?
It's good for Brighton, really, isn't it? I think, anyone would take him really as a class Championship player. a bit of experience in the Prem, and should be a decent signing for Brighton. And he might perform better at Brighton than he did at Huddersfield next season, arguably with better players.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Fair enough. So that's all we're really going to talk about. Murray, interesting. But I think he just wants Premier League football more than Championship.
Yeah.
I think anyone would. Next one. Now, I'm going to go and skip. We're currently at a wine session no more, but we're going to go straight down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th bottom. Wayne Rooney to Derby County from the MLS. He will move from DC United in the MLS to Derby County in January as a player coach on an 18-month contract. And his first game is at the Riverside, where he's going to get his legs snapped by Dale Fry. Guaranteed. But I like Wayne Rooney. Obviously, United relation as well. And one of my favourite all-time England players. He's a fantastic player. And, of course, some of the goals he scored, some wonderful goals. Long ranges from 40, 60 yards and all those. An overhead kick against Manchester City, for those who remember that as well. Going back 2010, 2009, 2010, something like that. That overhead kick was literally unbelievable. He scored a few goals in his time. And I think it's interesting that he's going to actually go to Derby. I was expecting him to end his career in the MLS, like a lot of players. Bastian Schweinsteiger, I think he'll end his career in the MLS. Obviously, Lampard, Gerrard, Beckham, they all ended their careers in the MLS as well. So I'm surprised that he's actually going to the Championship from one of the big leagues. Well, it's not one of the big leagues, but from one of the top divisions, should I say. Not the most watched, mind. So he's gone from soccer back to football. He's gone back to his home country. That's what he's doing. So I think it's interesting. It's good for Derby. But how's it going to work? That's the question. Because, he's getting an 18-month contract, and it's difficult as a player coach. It's like a player manager, which, of course, I've done for Future FC. Jack McCabe currently does that as well, for us as well. And, of course, I'm the assistant for him now. But I play as well sometimes. I'm not that great, I'll admit. So how is it going to work? People will probably think, right. So when he's off the pitch, he'll be coaching. He's coaching the players. He's basically given some tips to certain players that he's coached, and certain tactics to the manager and stuff. Discussing things. He'll be helping the new Derby manager. I can't remember who the Derby manager is at the minute. But
Koku, isn't it?
Who? Oh, it's that.
Koku.
Yeah, Koku. That's it. Yes. That's his name. I forgot his name, but anyways, yeah. It's going to be interesting. He goes on the field as a player, but when he's off the pitch, he's coaching. It's going to be weird for him, but best of luck to him. He's going to get his legs snapped at the Riverside, mind. And I forgot to say, Andy Carroll to Newcastle, he's already picked up an injury. So that was a great start for Newcastle, wasn't it? He's injured.
In training?
I don't know. I think he's injured with a calf. No, it's Andrew Webber was injured with a calf. I think it might be, some calf muscle. And also breaking news that came in yesterday. Big news actually came in today. Leroy Sané could be out for 7 months with his anterior cruciate ligament injury. So that's not good news for Bayern, and it's not good news for Man City either. So, double whammy. But who knows? Best of luck to him anyway, I just want to say. Anyway, back onto the transfer news as well. Were you like me? Were you expecting Wayne Rooney to end his career in the MLS?
Yeah, 100%. I was expecting him to end his career in the MLS. It's a bit of a running theme, really. And like you said, Gerrard, Beckham, all the other greats.
Seems to be all the England players.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Schweinsteiger.
Well, Schweinsteiger's Deutsch.
Looks like he's going to be ending his career out there as well, possibly. And I think, he's coming into Derby at time of year where they struggle. January is normally where they start to rip apart, and he could be crucial for them at that time of year. And he's written on the contract. Player is his responsibility, and manager is less kind of, I guess you could say.
Manager's more demanding, I think.
Yeah. On his contract it says players, but I think it could kickstart his managerial career. When he retires, lots of players do look to go into the managerial career, and it could kickstart it off for him, really, possibly. It's just a good opportunity for him, to possibly then return back to Manchester United as a manager.
Don't doubt what happened. But you're right, there's people who've gone from player to manager now. Lampard, Gerrard, Miroslav Klose. Now, people won't know about this, but Miroslav Klose currently is the manager of the Bayern under 23s, so one of the Bayern youth team. So he's currently the manager, basically, there, or assist. I think the head coach. Head coach. It is head coach. He's the head coach for the Bayern young players. So, people won't even know that. But I knew that anyway because I saw a video of a Bayern youth game with him in charge. So, I think so. There's a few people who do go from player to manager to all sorts. And we had Roberto Di Matteo actually was one of them as well back in a few years ago. Played as a player for Chelsea and then manager of Chelsea. And anyone else? I don't think so. I think it's just a repeating. It just seems to be a repeating pattern. Zola, yes. Watford manager
last season.
He was Watford manager.
Oh yeah, he was Watford as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he took them up, I think.
Yeah, he got promoted from the Championship, and then he stepped down as Watford manager. But yeah,
last minute goal from Deeney from a Leicester penalty that game, yes. So it just seems to be a repeating pattern, doesn't it? Every year, right? Someone's retired, he's now going to go into management. It's a repeating pattern, which is interesting actually. So it means you don't have to give up football for life now. It means they're still keeping up with the football stuff. If you look at Alan Shearer, however, if you look at Alan Shearer's different. Because Alan Shearer obviously was Newcastle legend, Blackburn legend, played for a few clubs. I think mainly Newcastle, mind. And he's not a manager. He's one of the match of the day, pundits or analysers. So, he's now part of the...
Same with Gary Lineker.
Oh, yes. Same with him as well. But there's people who go from football to being pundits and being...
Yeah, everyone's normally they
stuff
stay
now,
in the
so...
world.
Yeah.
Most legends do anyway.
Most legends are definitely, yes. So, it's mainly a repeating pattern, though. That players still actually retire and then they still keep going on with the football-themed route. So, also, we'll stop there for a minute. We have about 6-7 minutes left of the transfers. We're certainly not going to get through all these. So we talked about Rooney there. Next one, Wayne Sessegnon. Now, this is a confusing one. Wayne Sessegnon has gone to Spurs for 25 million, which could potentially rise to a 30 million deal. Plus, Josh Onuma has gone the other way. He's gone to Craven Cottage from Spurs as part of this deal. So, in basic terms, Fulham are selling the player, getting 25 million and getting the player in return, who's probably not as good. But I think Josh Onuma will do quite well in the Championship. And I think Sessegnon, he's always been Premier League quality. He's pacey. He's a fantastic left back. And if not one of the best left backs I think Fulham have had in quite a while. If you think anyone else has played fantastic at left back for Fulham, let me know in the comments and in the live chat of the premiere. Session on 25 million. I think that's a reasonable price in my opinion. And Joshua Lamar to Craven Cottage, a decent deal for him as well. Wine Session on to Spurs. Now, one of the big six clubs. Do you think he'll feel the pressure?
Honestly, Ryan Sessegnon, I think he's chosen the right time to move to a bigger club. He's been at Fulham for a few years, with them in the Championship. I think when he was in the Championship, he had clubs like Liverpool going in for him. Maybe that wasn't the right time. And he's had season Premier League, done quite well, and I think now he is a Premiership player. I think he will feel the pressure. I think it's going to be difficult for him to adapt to life in a Spurs team, big stadium, quite a few fans, but I think he'll be able to cope with the pressure, but not right at the start.
Fair enough. I mean, he's not that old, is he? He's how old is he?
No, he's young still.
Quite young. He's only 20. Well, he played in the 21 team. He's only 19.
He's still got a lot of potential.
He's 19. He's a quality young player. Played for England under 21s. Played for Fulham. Made an immediate impact, becoming the first footballer born in the 2000s to score a goal in the first team game. He plays as a left back or left winger for club, Fulham, and now he's moved to Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, he made his breakthrough to the senior teams in 2016, only age 16, and one of the youngest players ever to start a senior career. And of course, it's not like there's a player who's actually younger than Ryan Sessegnon who started his career. He just started his senior. He made his senior debut for Celtic.
I've seen that guy. He's tiny, isn't he?
Tang Dombele or something. I don't know what his name was. I don't know what his name was, but he was only 14.
That's mad, He's only a year older than me, He's going to be sitting his GCSEs next year.
Yeah, and he makes his debut against Celtic. Makes a debut against Celtic and totally changes the game. I mean, he was unbelievable. So you do have some good footballers who can play for the big teams. And there's a guy I know called Isaac Fletcher who went to my school, and obviously I've just finished my first year of college. He'll have finished his first year. He's currently playing, he's about 16, 17. He's playing for the Borough under 21s. And he's practically the same age as me. Playing for the Borough under 21 squad, which is a big step up. And I know he used to play for the academy team, but I'm thinking if that's actually who it is, then fair play to him. He's done a very good job getting that high. So that's a good start for him. So fair play to him, mate. Session on. Josh Onomar, do you think he'll suit the Championship?
I think he will. He's got a lot of potential again, like Sessegnon. I think he can prove himself in the Championship and then from there rise to be a better player.
Fair enough. There you go. You've heard it from us. We have about a minute or two. Well, 2 minutes left. 1 minute, 2 minutes left. So we're going to quickly go on to one more, which will be we'll do John Cancelo next week. We're going to do the one for David Hoyle, which we were going to get on to. Reading have signed George Puskás from Inter Milan on a 5-year deal, and I don't know what's happened there. Right, don't worry about that, mate.
I don't know, connection.
Right. Reading have signed George Puskás, who is a Romanian under-21s international. And
from Inter Milan,
plays
isn't he?
for Inter Milan, yes. Now, in the under-21 championship, he scored a few decent goals. He was a very good player. He was a player to watch. And in my opinion, one of the best Romanian players in the tournament. You've obviously had the likes of Hadji, and I'm on about George Hadji's son, who played for them as well. And Romania have probably one of the best under-21 squad, and I think they were unlucky to lose against the Deutsche Mannschaft, which I was obviously sad about, but I didn't really care in the first place. But I think they played well in the championship, and I think Puskás is a player to watch. If you don't mark him down, you'll concede. And I think that's a fantastic signing for Reading. Will he suit the championship though? It's a totally different ball game to the Serie A. Probably not. He'll have to learn English for starters. So I don't think he knows that much English. But he's a quality player, so I think Reading, you have a fantastic deal. You've got a great player, and I think he might do decent at your club. I'll say whether he's going to do good or not, it's hard to say whether it's guaranteed that he's going to do well till we've actually seen him play. A bit like Lukaku, yeah. I think that's probably what's happened. They've bought Lukaku and sold George Puskás.
Yeah, maybe to free up maybe money, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you said George Puskás from Inter before I even said it, so I'm assuming you'll know some stuff about him. Do you think this is a good signing for Reading? In my opinion, it is. It's a 5-year deal as well.
Yeah.
Just quickly.
Reading, a lot of people have predicted them to go down, which wouldn't surprise me. But because their quality of players isn't the greatest, and Reading are quite known for signing unknown players. But Puskás is, I think you could say, is quite a big name, and Reading quite lucky to go and sign him, to be honest. So, as far as a Reading fan, I'd be pretty excited with that. And I don't think they'll be going down any longer.
Fair enough, yeah. There you go, you've heard it from him. George Puskás signed for a 5-year deal. A great signing for the Royals, in my opinion. He's a fantastic individual. I'm assuming you've just heard that, but the klaxon's literally just gone. I didn't have the desktop audio on when that happened because I didn't know when it was actually going to go. But I think it came through the mic, so that should be fine. Anyways, that is the end for this series. For the proper episodes of this series. Next week we have a bumper episode where we'll go through all the transfers that we did not get through. And the transfers will go through next week. Once I've ticked these off quickly. We'll be starting with Albion Ajeti to West Ham from Basel. Charlie Austin to West Brom. Joe Cancelo to Man City and Danilo going away. Harry Maguire to Manchester United, which obviously happened this week. Unfortunately, we didn't get onto that one. That was one of the main ones. Firpo to Barcelona. Mignolet to Club Brugge. Wilson to Bournemouth. And I think that's it. And any more that come through during the week. We'll be joined by another very special guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You'll find out next week if you join the show. We should be live for it at 7 p.m. next week. And it is going to go on until we actually get through all the transfers and that. So it should be between an hour and a half the show. But that is it for this series. Series 5 completed. We have the bumper episode next week, and then it'll be on to Series 6 in the January transfer window, where there'll only be, I'd say, 4 or 5 episodes. So we do already have a reserve list, which is practically full. So if anyone drops out, then I'll speak to see about anyone else. But that's it. Regan, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for making your actual debut on the channel, by the way, I forgot to say. It's actually your debut on the channel.
And, we should definitely be doing more videos together in the future like these.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully I can get on your channel at some point if you come to the Borby Ipswich game. So I doubt I'll be travelling down to Ipswich, to be honest. That won't happen. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's not going to happen unless you get him in the cup. But as I say, that's it for this series. Regan, again, thanks very much for coming on. Go subscribe to his channel. Link will be in the description down below. He's not far away from, 440 something?
481 now.
No, he's 481, so he's not far from 500. Let's see if we can get him up to 500. Please like, comment, subscribe. We are close to 700. So if we hit 700,
Subscribe.
it'd be massively appreciated. Next video that comes out for the channel will be tomorrow night, which is a live stream again, and that will be the live Manchester United against Chelsea preview. A big game. The Premier League returns tonight. Good luck to Liverpool and Norwich, by the way, tonight, and good luck to the other teams tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow for the United Chelsea preview, and then of course Sunday will of course be the United Chelsea watch along. I'm hoping I can upload the Bowie Brentford vlog before I do the preview. If not, then that probably won't be uploaded till either Sunday night or Monday. So hopefully I'll get it up as soon as possible. But that's it. Enough talking from me. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And from all of us here on Dazzer's Football Stand and on Dazzer's Transfer Show, from me and Regan, we'll see you next week for the bumper episode. Have a great night. Good night. Good night.